ITZY and NMIXX had one of the strongest starts in the K-pop industry and were considered two of the groups with the most potential, but now they've basically faded into obscurity, and it's safe to say JYP Entertainment is to blame for all of this. Let's start the video by stating ITZY and NMIXX are still pretty popular by the industry standards, but they could have been the leaders of their generation if JYP played their cards right. Their comebacks, even if they're not talked about much, managed to do pretty good, and they still have a more stable fan base than most groups of their generation. Yet you can't help but feel like their music and overall promotions don't show the group's full potential. It was first obvious with ITZY. If you were here from their debut, you might remember that they were the it group of the fourth generation for quite some time. They dominated the industry in every way and had the general public and the international fans in a grip. The powerful choreography, captivating girl crush concept, and the member skills made them an instant hit. They maintained their popularity with strong performances in digital sales, YouTube views, and physical album sales. Well, until Mafia in the Morning came out. Although their comeback concepts remained similar to what they were preaching since their debut, people started to get bored of them. Even though they were still technically establishing their foundation in the industry, fans wanted to see the girls explore different styles. While their signature sound, quirky styling, and empowering lyrics have proven to be a successful formula, the public wanted something fresh from the group, especially considering their ability to showcase versatility through their B-side tracks. But the versatility never came. At least not when it came to title tracks. At first, they were known to have a unique sound that set them apart from other groups and which couldn't be replicated by anyone else. However, the group kept releasing noisy song after noisy song about self-love, and while they didn't flop on the charts, the public managed to lose interest as it quickly became obvious that JYP were wasting the members' potential in mediocre comebacks. The same thing ended up repeating itself with NMIXX. The members are immensely talented, but you wouldn't know that unless you were a fan of the group. So far, the group has only gotten experimental songs that have tanked on the charts and have gotten massive criticism from fans and non-fans alike. Even if JYP managed to change their sound recently from what we got used to hearing from NMIXX, they're still failing to see what the public likes in terms of music. JYP had a well-executed concept for both groups with immense potential. However, they seem to be uncertain or stuck when it comes to evolving their group sounds. They either lack the right people to pull everything off, or are not gathering the appropriate ideas to maintain a distinct sound. Even though they have attempted to convince the public that the group's music is maturing, the masses don't seem to agree. While groups can indeed change their sound and image almost every comeback, there are ways to do so successfully, and because of this, companies who decide to make changes are aware that there are certain risks that come with this. If the change turns out to be successful, they reap the rewards and try to replicate the aspects that worked. If not, they make necessary adjustments and changes based on the feedback they receive. As opposed to these other companies, JYP is either ignoring or not effectively addressing the negative feedback and issues raised by both fans and the general public, which has caused ITZY's and NMIXX's music to be quite unpopular among the public. At this point, it's clear that having a fan base and the general public divided on every single song for every single comeback is not a positive sign for a group, especially in the long run, no matter if we're talking about ITZY or NMIXX. Especially in ITZY's case, the fans that supported the group since debut have grown out of their music and matured, while ITZY's music has failed to do the same. In another case, those that became fans because of their experimental music have probably dropped out by now, as the group's recent music doesn't appeal to them anymore. We have also witnessed other groups successfully transition from one concept to another without it feeling rushed or disjointed. However, it's unclear what JYP's plans are for their groups, as it seems like there's a lack of direction or concrete strategy for the groups. When it comes to ITZY, and now even NMIXX, JYP tends to prioritize trendy sounds over long-term sustainability, which may not be ideal for a company as big as them. We have witnessed that adopting this mindset when it comes to music is not the right thing to do if they want to last in the industry. Following trends for short-term fame and building a fandom are strategies used by smaller companies who are trying to get their groups out there, not a company like JYP. JYP won't give the members a chance to compete in an industry as cutthroat as the K-pop one if all they will do is keep relying on the latest trends without considering their long-term staying power. As mentioned, other companies are successful in pulling off concept-driven comebacks because they invest time in studying, researching, and planning. Whether you love it or hate it, their approach tends to leave a lasting impression and even start trends rather than following them. Even if the upcoming comebacks of the two groups manage to be a success and nowhere similar to their other title tracks, JYP really set them up when it comes to the schedule. With NMIXX scheduled to come back on July 11th and ITZY coming back only 20 days later, not to mention that Mina, Sana, and Momo's subunit debut is coming on July 26th, overlapping the comebacks of all these girl groups is bad for every single one of them. How are the general public and the casual listeners supposed to focus on them when there's so much going on? Not to mention that the groups of the same company would be competing against each other, which is straight up stupid. The company barely promotes them, so they don't stand a chance until the company wakes up and sees what they're letting slip out of their hands. A commenter said, "The fact that they just released a song and their Instagram account hasn't even posted anything about it on their feed. Only if you look at their highlights will you find the pictures and the promo." An additional issue that fans had in regards to NMIXX's management specifically is the way that they handled Jeannie's departure. While we weren't given a lot of information about why she left, JYP completely erased her and treated the whole thing as if Jeannie was never a part of the group. Performances were edited to erase her, and all of her pictures were deleted from the group's Instagram. While it's normal for the group to not talk about a former member, it's not professional for the company to go so far to erase her existence to the point that you start having doubts that she was a part of the group in the first place. Fans also have complaints about the styling of both groups. It's ironic that even though JYP's groups have very trendy music, the styling of the members feels outdated and tacky. The group tends to wear the same type of outfits, and they almost always look cheap and not cohesive with each other. The style of their outfits remains the same in music videos, live performances, and other appearances in award shows and events. Sometimes it's challenging to identify distinct style eras for the group as they consistently present a similar look. Another problem that the fans have noticed in the way that JYP is mismanaging both ITZY and NMIXX is the lack of solo promotions for the members. Especially with other companies doing the most to emphasize their idols' talents and charms, JYP's girl groups seem to fall short in that regard. The vocalists in other groups have OSTs, more lines and songs so that they can showcase their vocals, and appear in shows so the general public and people who aren't familiar with the group get an idea of how talented they are. Other dancers get harder choreographies and break dances in their songs, while the charismatic members are MCs and go on variety shows and have a tight schedule whether they have a comeback or not. The ITZY girls have gone viral multiple times for their synchronization, visuals, dancing skills, and the adorable relationship between the members, while NMIXX have become trendy on Twitter and other social media due to their vocals and variety skills. JYP's failure to capitalize on the members' individual popularity and their attempts to showcase their skills outside of group promotions will unfortunately contribute to a natural decline in public interest between comebacks, and the music hasn't helped their interest too. It would be beneficial for JYP to strike a balance by providing solo opportunities for members while also actively promoting the members as a group. This approach could attract the attention of fans who are interested in both the individual members and the group as a whole. So to avoid being left in the dust and facing potential disbandment, JYP needs to shake things up and make the members stand out in the crowd, especially with so many groups coming out. JYP should really step in and take charge and spice things up by giving the members of NMIXX and ITZY more solo and group schedules. Maybe even consider a complete makeover of their concept and sound, turning up the freshness factor to wow the public once again. So let's bring both ITZY and NMIXX back on track and make them a force to be reckoned with in the industry. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Bye!